Salutations everyone and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. Happy 4th of July. Even if you're not American, go ahead and do something American. Something big bloated like watching some big, Hollywood movie or something like that. Alas, poor Arnold. I knew him. In America. This joke was 3 references in one. I hope somebody got all 3. Not to worry anyone, the robot apocalypse isn't coming anytime soon. As long as I have this chip, there's no shit. So, welcome to What Mattered, the weekly show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. Next week, I will be coming at you live from San Diego Comic-Con. Hopefully give you guys some exclusive information, some hands-on stuff with some upcoming big video games, possibly the zombie mode and some Black Ops 3 multiplayer, as well as just plenty of things on the show floor, I am sure, to talk about. Probably won't be, very heavily edited, but I will try to give you the best experience of Comic-Con that I can. So look forward to that next week, but bear with me if it doesn't come out 100% on time. So, in Smash Brothers news, Masahiro Sakurai said in a recent interview with Famitsu Weekly that there will be plenty of new DLC characters coming along through the pipeline. So that they aren't done. Obviously, they held that ballot to see what people's interests were going to be in, and of course they were already working on Lucas and Ryu and Roy after already releasing Mewtwo. So they've been working on these things for a long time. These characters take a long time to create, and the more original they are, the more work that has to go into it. Clone characters don't take as much time to make. But they said that there's going to be plenty of characters still coming out DLC-wise, that they're taking a look at what they got from the ballot, and will be proceeding henceforth with, giving people what they want. They're going to be fulfilling fan wishes. I honestly don't think this means, hitting the list from top to bottom, but it definitely giving people what they want, characters that are in pretty decent demands that they can get the rights to and want to and can make. So definitely looking forward out to, what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get any DLC characters this year unless they've already chosen 1 or 2 characters and are already currently working on them. I would say that probably one of these characters might take, I don't know, maybe 6 months. That's just my own guesstimate, but probably definitely next year we will get some new DLC characters. So let me know who you would like as the newest addition to Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. I just hope they're cool characters and they're good fighters. That's really the thing that matters to me most. Speaking of things that matter, Nolan North dropped a whole bunch of stuff at a recent con, talking about games that are in development, or that he at least says are, that we hadn't known about before. He said that there is a Star Wars-esque game that Visceral Studios has been working on, which we already knew because Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog, who Nolan North has of course worked with the Uncharted series, to work on a Star Wars game for Visceral, and he says it's an Uncharted like game set in the Star Wars universe. This brings up memories of Star Wars 1313, which was an amazing looking game that was going to be like a bounty hunter based game that rumors had that Boba Fett was in the game, but who cares about Boba by the foot. And it was fantastic, but then LucasArts shuts down and like all of their games were canceled, and then they were acquired by Disney, and now they're starting to make Star Wars games, first starting off with Battlefront, not counting the Lego games. So that is definitely awesome that we're getting a Star Wars 1313-esque game, something within that Uncharted-like style is coming out. We knew that Amy Hennig, the game is in good hands, and we should be super excited about what this development team has to offer over at Visceral Studios. Everyone's going to get pumped for Battlefront, and hopefully we'll get some news about this maybe by the end of the year, but probably not. Definitely next year, because we know that this has been a Star Wars project that Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog to work on, so it's much excite to be had. Other things that Nolan North talked about in a Q&A was that Naughty Dog is working on The Last of Us 2. He says, you know, I know they're working on The Last of Us 2, but, you know, my character in the first Last of Us had an untimely demise, you know, wasn't really in the game that much. And that was kind of the first that we've really heard about Last of Us 2 being in development. When Troy Baker was asked about the subject, he says he doesn't know anything about it. Of course, you know, he voices Joel, one of the main characters in The Last of Us, but he says that, you know, Neil Druckmann, you know, will handle this franchise in good hands. We know that they're trying to, you know, do the movie thing with Neil Druckmann at the helm, creative-wise. So, I mean, definitely the demand is there for Last of Us. It was a fantastic game. Fantastic. The narrative was great. The graphics were great. Gameplay was awesome. Multiplayer came out of nowhere to, like, totally surprise everyone, which was really fun. You know, it wouldn't be a surprise if it ended up being that they're working on this because, you know, Troy, knowing more about the project, would have to be more secretive about it. And with Nolan North not being so much involved in the project, would probably have more loose lips about the subject. So if that is true, amazing. Who knows where the story will lead us? You know, if it's going to continue with Joel and Ellie, which I'm sure everyone hopes does. And either way, that would just be fantastic because the first Last of Us was amazing. Speaking of sequels, member Keiji Inafune doing Mighty No. 9, the spiritual successor to Megman. Well, now he's teased that he is working on a spiritual successor to Mega Man Legends. It's called Red Ash. He put up a teaser of it on YouTube. Working with another studio, and they say the word Legends a lot within the trailer, kind of like really trying to push it in there. It's like, this is a Mega Man Legends spiritual successor, which will be fantastic. There's been, I think, more push for a Mega Man Legends sequel than any other of the, you know, the Mega Man game types. Especially with all the canceled Mega Man projects that we've been seeing the last couple of years. So, you know, looks like you Mega Man Legends fans will get your wish in Red Ash. And as long as we're talking about speculation of sequels and the like, Batman Arkham Knight came out, and, you know, the PC had their issues. There's some saying that WB knew about the PC issues for months ahead of time. That's whatever. But the game is fantastic. I'm doing my playthrough on it on Twitch, which you might want to check out. And there has been, you know, questions about, you know, where is this going to lead? Because they've been saying for a long time, this is Batman's last Arkham game. With the DLC and Season Pass, they're doing all of their wish fulfillment, things that they wanted to do with, you know, Red Hood and Harley Quinn, and, you know, Batgirl is coming out really soon. So they've done everything that they've wanted to do with Batman, and this is going to be the end of the road after 4 games. So what is next for this? A lot of people have been saying they want another, you know, WB game, and it looks like that might actually be happening. There's been some hirings for a supposed WB IP project from the Arkham Origins developers in Montreal, I believe. And that's really cool. People have been thinking, like, you know, who's it going to be? Green Arrow, Superman, The Flash? Now, there obviously has been nods to many DC characters within the 4-game franchise. I mean, there's a LexCorp building in Arkham Knight. There's also been spotted some Queen Consolidated crates in Arkham Knight, which seems pretty promising, you know, like not something too overtly obvious that everyone will see, but something teased in there, because the Batman Arkham games have always teased at their next game. In many of you might remember in Arkham Asylum, there was that Easter egg that people didn't find until like a year later that had the entire plans for Arkham City in the secret little room. And then in an Arkham Origins, or no, Arkham City, there was a discarded Scarecrow mask, and, you know, he's the villain in Arkham Knight. And so they do these things quite often. I think with the multi-fear takedown, new combat ability that Batman has, my immediately thought, like, this feels like fighting as Flash, so I think they could do that very well. Arrow and Flash are both, like, super hyped right now because of their amazing television shows, so now would be the perfect time to do either of those games. And we know it's going to be, you know, a great engine. It's working on the same engine. We've heard of these hirings 2 years ago. You might remember we've heard about there being a new WB game in development. So if those rumors are true, maybe we'll get some info about it. You know, it could come out next year, or at least, you know, some sort of announcement. But with Batman done, what's the next step? Green Arrow, Flash, Superman. Let me know who you would like to see because there's just so many good characters that they can make games out of. Your PlayStation Plus games for July go as follows, starting with the PlayStation 4. We have Rocket League, Styx, Master of Shadows, Entwined, and Mousecraft. And PlayStation 3 owners get Geometry Wars 3, Rain, as well as Mousecraft with the cross-buy with PlayStation 3, as well as Vita. Any Hootie and the Blowfish, that is what mattered this week. If you would like to know what matters in the future, you can subscribe. One of these comes out every single Saturday. I will see you next week at San Diego Comic-Con. And yeah, have a good July 4th weekend. And if you aren't American, just have a good weekend without blinding yourself with boring lights in the sky.